Hello everyone, this is Ben. Welcome back to the Midwest Mallow Shop. Merry Christmas to everybody. First order of business, if you just came here to see what I've accomplished in this episode, just go ahead and skip to this minute marker here and you'll be able to see kind of a summary of the whole thing. That's all the stuff I accomplished this time around. In this episode, we do get a lot of stuff done. Primarily though, I think the big thing I want to share is at this point in the build, it's been difficult to just work on sections of the superstructure. You have the main area on the main deck, and then you have the next level up, and there's just a lot of stuff that has to go together all over the place, and it's actually been extremely difficult, especially bouncing all over with the Pontos instructions, to decide what I should be working on, what to prioritize, and how to make a cohesive build process take place. I could say, fortunately, at the end of this video, you're going to see that I don't totally finish the second deck. I stop at a certain point. You're like, wait a minute, he started a couple of parts, especially with the wooden deck and everything, and then quit. The reason I did that is those are actually modular sections that I can focus on individually from here on out, such as the aft. They call it like an intelligence center or something on the Pontos instructions. You got the forward bridge, you're going to have the funnel, you're going to have the mast on both ends. So anyway, I'm going to work on those things. I hope I'm going to do some research here and find out what the actual names are, because they're not, the initial stuff I saw online is the decks are numbered from the main deck down, and then on up it seems like they just have named the section that you would go to, or the compartment that you would go to. So those of you who've served on the ship and are familiar with each of these sections, please feel free to comment down below. I'm going to try and look some of this stuff up online and have better knowledge on what things are called. Appreciate any of the help anyone can provide with everything going up into the superstructure. And then, yeah, that's it. I gotta rebuild my computer, switch some things around, so I have a new editing program that I'm using, and there's a learning curve with that, but hopefully I'll get better here as time goes on. And that's about it. Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you all have a Happy New Year. And like I said, the next build after this is just going to be on one very specific section of the superstructure as we go up. Alright, so with that being said, let's jump into all this crazy part of the build. So, started working on painting some of the details here. Also, I filled in the windows with the Testors cement clear. It's not done yet. Also, we have our, well, they're not dry yet, sorry. So, right here we have our oxygen tanks. Those are the green ones. And then we have our settling tanks. Those are the ones with the blue top and the red stripe. They're I went and looked this stuff up online. I found a really good source for those tanks to get the navy colors right. Let's flip this around. Alright, here's the other side. But on the tanks, the tall ones are supposed to be the oxygen tanks with the green. And then the, I don't know, they're like 59 inches tall or something like that. And then 34 inches tall are supposed to be the settling tanks. They're supposed to be shorter. Unfortunately, the kit provided parts are all the same height, with the exception of right there. You get 3 shorter ones. There is a gentleman online. Oh man, I can't remember. It's like hobby-mart or something hobby. I'll try and find the link. But his website, he does 3D printing, and he actually has correct tanks if you want to buy them from him. I did make a mistake. According to instructions, this part right here, I don't know what you call it. Somehow, on this side, port and starboard, I managed to install it upside down. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it off and flip it over. I'm not sure how big of a deal it is, other than that might be an incinerator door type of thing, or a chute for catching shells. I'm not sure. Someone more educated than me will know, but according to instructions, I put it on upside down. So, that was a little mistake. But anyway, that I'm excited about. This kind of concludes the initial detailing here of this part of the deck. I got to do a wash and clean things up. I'm really waiting for the glass. You can see the glint there to finish drying. I want to make sure that it's flush, not hollow. It shrinks a little bit as it sets up. I have to work on that reel right there. But yeah, this has come along. I was really excited, like I said earlier, to work on the oxygen tanks and the acetylene tanks because they add a lot to this part of the ship, and they'll look cool when it's attached to the main hull. Pressing on. Alright, so I just did a wash on this first level here, and it's looking pretty sweet. Threw it on the ship. As you can see, some of the windows look a little bit hazy. Still, I'm going to see how they turn out, but yeah, I'm really glad that I did this. It looks really sharp. So now we got to get working on the next level up and start getting this thing glued together. I've started what may be a fairly controversial decision, and that was to begin installing the railing. The reason I want to do it now is there's all kinds of room over here to reach in with my hands. I did run into a problem where the next deck up I did have to install to reference my points correctly, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I think it'll make things less troublesome later on. I wanted to point out right here, when I did put this piece on, though, there was a seam right there. That's the red putty to fill it. Same thing exists on the opposite side. As soon as that's painted, touched up, I'll go ahead and install more of the railing. The only thing I'm not sure about is this business right there. See how that piece is just hanging? That's because, according to Pontos, it's supposed to attach to the 5-inch gun turret right there. Yeah, I don't know how that would have worked in real life. I mean, the thing's got to turn. So maybe someone who's familiar with the Missouri or battleships in general and how that would have functioned, you can let us know. Or that's just an inaccuracy in the Pontos kit. But regardless, we're going to try and get that railing in next the rest of the way. Alright, so here is some of the railing installed, kind of as much as I can do right now for the moment on both sides. I think it looks good. So now we need to continue up to the next level of the deck. We've got this section and that section right there to work on, and this forward part of the conning tower. They all need to get painted up just like this, blue on the sides, and then we need to get our deck blue on top and the next layer of wood decking installed. Those pieces are prepped. Take a look. Right here, there's nothing really remarkable to show you on this piece. Over here you've got your photo etch ladders on both sides, rungs installed. That's it, just got to paint up. And then right there you get, this is where the ship's bell gets installed, one of them anyway. We've got a nice brass piece for that. So time to paint these up just like we did the other parts, and then of course the decking gets installed next. Real quick, buried back in the instructions, obviously I have to do these ladders here, but see those pieces of photo etch right there? Yeah, those go back on both sides. I forgot to mention that too. That was on a funny page buried in the back of the Pontos instructions. I mentioned that piece. Alright, now we'll get this painted up. Next up we got Beaufort's positions 3 and 4 per the Pontos instructions done up. We've gone ahead and painted the bottom, the deck blue, and weather deck blue, and then installed all of the gun racks per Pontos. And now we're going to paint the edges are light gray, and then we'll pull out the masking. So that's how we're going to attempt to do that. And then we got a couple other miscellaneous parts right back up here that get attached. They're masked off and in various stages of paint. So let's get those all painted up and installed. Here we are all painted up. Now all we gotta do is go ahead and install it on the forward part of the deck on the bottom part of the superstructure. Let's go ahead and get that all done. It looks good. Alright, we've got the 2 forward positions installed according to Pontos. I think this is spots 3 and 4. Yeah, 3 and 4. And they turned out nicely. You know, you can see the armor rack's got the little detail in the back, and it looks good. Other one, this is the port side, starboard side's over there. So let's go ahead and just to wrap this all up, I'm just going to do a quick kind of pass here. I'm going to zoom in on all the detail that we've got. Not everything's finished. Obviously we've got a little bit of work to do, but it's been weathered. The windows are installed. We've got our acetylene and oxygen tanks installed. Let's see. All the little photo etch detail for the gun positions is complete. And we've got our ladders installed. And the railings, which ended up not being too bad. I like having the railing in now because it did get a little fishy in a couple areas. I don't know if I'm going to regret that area, but it did all right. So let's take a quick peek at the opposite side. Alright, here's the detail starting from the forward starboard side of the superstructure. Same thing, got a little bit of our weathering done. Here's that other anti-aircraft gun position, the tub all installed. Of course, the gun's going to consume most of that spot. Let's see. There are posts that go in underneath here, but we'll worry about that when we put the whole thing together. Decks stain nicely. The acetylene and oxygen tanks, I think, turned out nicely. I think they provide a nice differentiation in color. Keeps everything not looking so bland. Alright, so we have two tubs that go here and here. The instructions have you install them kind of later on down the road, and I actually decided I'm going to wait until we have this aft control station tower built up and the funnel section before I worry about all that. So here's kind of a broad view of the whole thing. So this is, we're going to call it the main superstructure on the main deck, and then I don't know the name of the second deck up, because this is actually main deck's deck 1, and then it goes, or main deck and then 1, 2, 3 down. Going up, from what I could tell, these areas tend to be identified by the purpose that they serve on the ship. So the next couple of videos, fortunately, are going to be less chaotic because things get modular at this point. We have a section here, we've got a section here, we've got the forward bridge and everything to assemble, and they are all their own, basically sub-assemblies. And so those will be individual videos on each of those, which makes me happy because then it's easy to focus on what I'm doing. So anyway, this is the detail that we've got so far. Thank you very much for watching and putting up with kind of the tomfoolery of figuring out how to make this all happen. And Merry Christmas to everybody. I do have an Instagram page that I put the link down to below if you want to go ahead and follow. I do try and take pictures as I go along and post them when I get a chance to work on things. Anyway, next video will probably be in 2020. Until then, everybody take care, and yeah, happy holidays.